basically speaking, Itemeka the creative guy, and I'm basically speaking.
Hello, basically speaking today with the one and only uh, first house SUG President of UNIZIK, of which I'm not so good with giving, should I say, introduction or introducing a guest so well like that because they that are behind the game, they know how to introduce themselves very well. So, first of all, before the video rolls out, I want to give a shout out to the Koda Effect for always been available for me to use this camera to shoot the cassettes and to every other person that tries to support me one way or the other to make sure that I'm always dropping out content. This is saying thank you very much. So on this episode of my Basically Speaking series, I'll be having a dialogue with the first house president, popularly known as Isaiah. So let me just give him the audio or the opportunity to introduce himself every time.
Okay, my name is Samuel Eze. Then people call me Messiah of UNIZIK. So I think
No, they should call it like your full name, your title, because whenever we see your name on paper, we see things like Giant Comr.
okay, it's a former now. So for now,
Emeritus.
it will leave it. Yes, but my name is or my name was Giant Comr as a Samuel. As a Samuel Chinas, the Messiah of UNIZIK, 31st SUG President of University, Awka campus. Yeah.
So, seeing the fact that you probably played a big role in the last session before you graduated from that school, I feel like our conversation is going to be a little bit toxic somehow. And for those of you that are watching, this is not to actually backlash certain persons because I am very, very good at asking controversial questions so that the general public can learn and as well probably have things because so many things happen within the first house. So many things were speculated within the school premises that felt like truth because for what I noticed or for what I studied, the first president wasn't the kind of person that would always want to come out on camera and say, no, this is what we did to banter, all this kind of stuff. Perhaps he had other things that had its own, should I say, attention. So I will not take this opportunity for granted for you being available for me to come shoot to today. So quickly, can you tell us, saying that I noticed, or should I say, I studied, and I discovered that you actually came out for president, SUG president 2 times. So first of all, can you tell us your inspiration for wanting to come out as a leadership position at school?
Okay, well, the kind of person I am, I always come into an environment and I look for what is lacking. I've worked in several places before, and everywhere I've worked, I've always contributed something. So it was not different from Nandamzikwe University. When I came into Nandamzikwe University, I started to study the environment, and I was exposed to politics early, not just student politics, but secular politics, because I came in 2021, and Anambra State was preparing for her governorship elections. So because I had a friend, Alex, who was already connected with the secular politics, whatever. So we formed an action group for Senator Dr. Andrew back then. And then in that action group, we had other student leaders, council chairman, and all of that. So I was exposed to it early. So I started, because I already did a program in Abia State Polytechnic, the one we call the Bonayono now. So I watched how things were done there. It was quite different from Nandamzikwe University. So I started feeling like, oh, there is a need for us to do things better. So I started studying environment. I told my friends as early as year one that I want to go for SUG president, and they laughed. They said, no. The SUG president say you will start from department. So, but I like challenges, and because they said I should start from department, I refused to start from department. I went for the victories.
Because they say that leadership is all about experiences and all those kind of stuff. So you say that you had experiences from the Abia Polytechnic, whatever that you did, or it was just something that you just picked up immediately you came to it?
Yeah, I think leadership, my own style of leadership, leadership can mean various things, but for me, leadership is about training other leaders, and sometimes It's about challenging yourself. I used to tell myself, if somebody else has done it before, I believe I can. So that is it. So experience, I've not been an SUG president before, but I've been a coordinator here, I've been an assistant secretary general there, I've been here, I've been there volunteering in so many ways, and I've been opportune to head committees as well. So, and I did those jobs very well. So it was not going to be different. I mean, those that have done it before, like I said earlier, don't have two heads. So why not give it a shot? So that's
Okay,
it.
so speaking about political campaign and political involvement, do you feel like the name Messiah was just a political language, a political campaign, so that you just wanted something that was controversial so that people can easily grab the name, or something else generated that name?
Okay, very good. Yeah, Messiah came the second time because the first time we were flying the smart plan. So that smart plan, many people knew smart plan even more than they know the name Samuel Eze. So I was thinking of
So you said you're using smart plan.
Yes,
Okay.
the smart plan, that was the head of our campaign. So, but then I was the teacher. I was teaching in a secondary school in Awka as part time. So I sat down one day in my room with my roommates and we were discussing. I said I want to come out as a rabbi. So we started laughing. So why rabbi? What teacher? Why rabbi? So we were just looking for something, and then just somewhere something just came to me. Messiah, a Hebrew name for savior. I said Messiah. I said, oh, wow, Messiah will fly. Let's try Messiah. So we started trying out. And some people at first rejected the Messiah. I said, no, you cannot be a Messiah. One of my very good friends today, architect Shedrack Ituma, who is now a colleague in the construction industry, he said, no, we cannot support you. You cannot be rubbing shoulders with Jesus. And many people wanted me to change the name, but I refused. And it was in that controversy that the name became popular. So when somebody sees Messiah, I'll be like, Messiah Awka. Wow. So from Messiah, everybody have had Messiah.
The controversy really helps you.
Yes, the controversy around the name made the campaign popular. Okay. Yes.
So, okay, since you had an initial campaign there, another campaign that was about the Messiah. So, do you feel like there were certain things that you actually did that made your first campaign loved? And what was those things that you actually did that made it loved? And then for you coming out the second time, so what actually gave you the morale, like the effort to actually feel like you can actually come the second time and win? What did you actually put in place? Or what did you learn from the previous that you lost? And what did you put in place for the one that you actually won?
I love challenges. And challenges, like I said, I love challenges. Let me just put it that way. So I don't like giving up. I know how to get what I want. So the first experience was not did not demoralize me. Immediately after the first experience, after we lost, we started again. So one of the things that that we took out from our first missionary journey to becoming president is that we did not start early. We did not have any experience. We did not know what the whole campaign was all about. But with our outing, the first outing, we gathered a lot of experiences. We did not know that you have to have people in admin, talk to this, talk to that. But that first experience gave us exposure. But something stood out in that first campaign. Okay. What stood out was that you are a candidate with value. I always met some of my opponents then in that first missionary outing that would tell me, so I call it missionary outing, that would tell me, oh, Samuel, you are good. If I'm not in the ballot, I would like you to be the one to be president. I mean, yes. So I have been qualified from day one, but just that we did not have a campaign strategy. And yes, because we knew little, and we had little support from our faculty president then.
So, so saying that you had this support, so do you consider those support as part of, because in my previous discussion with stakeholders, past stakeholders, leadership people in UNIZIK, they always talk about external influences. So do you feel like the support that actually came about your emergence as Senate President, do you feel like external influences were also involved in it?
Well, not to discredit those that that contributed in one way or the other. I worked harder than every other person the second time. When I mean work rate, I worked harder. I've campaigned more than them. And I said I had that little edge because of the experience I had from the first one. So, but you can't, presidency is not something you do alone. You need people here and there. And I won't say external influences per se. There were not much external influences because I was very, very careful. I was doing my campaign all by myself, and my friends and we kept on reaching out. And you know, when you are close to victory, when you are close to success, many people will come around to tag along. So that's what happened. Our candidacy was purely student-centered, and it is students that give me their mandate, not external influences.
So because sometime last year, during the end of the year, I came across a couple of meetings like that, and then I will have somebody telling somebody allegedly that they were the one that made you president, that they were the one in charge of everything, that they were even the one that made the movement and all those kind of stuff, that those things that they do during elections are just paparazzi. So in order to portray that point, do you feel like the processes that brought you as the first SUG President of UNIZIK was actually a free and fair election? Because so many people have so many things to say about that election. So what do you actually have to say about the election? Do you feel it was free and fair, or do you feel somebody actually made you president?
Well, nobody in particular made me president. It is students of University that made me president. I know that there used to be allegations of, university management having a hand somehow to select who they want, and that you are supposed to have a conversation with the vice chancellor, whoever it is, so that they will know you. And then I was trying to do all of that, but it wasn't possible. I can tell you categorically that I did not meet. Then it was Professor Joey Kechevelo when we were prepared before Professor Caro came. I can tell you that I did not meet any of them. Even when I tried to meet somebody, they said they were not going to attend to me. Yes. So I kept on talking to students. And the only thing I kept on asking for was that this election should be free, fair, and credible. Let students be allowed to vote. And I campaigned, like I said. I said I'm not discrediting those that give me advice, that put in work for me here or there, but I am going to say that it is mostly 90% of student support. It is students that voted, and I think it was very free and fair.
So there are these allegations that you use the Christian community of University fellowship system and other churches that are related to the school where students are to use to do your campaign for students, and you use them, and sometimes you go to their fellowship to make money and all this kind of stuff just to buy their trust in order for you to win the election. So what do you have to say about that? Do you feel like those allegations were true, or it was part of the campaign plan?
First of all, let me correct the impression. I did not use them. We did not use them. We reached out to them. I was studying the environment, like I said, the polity. I discovered that JCCF was not mainstream, was not brought in mainstream what we're doing. So I reached out to them. I said, look, you people can be part of what we are doing. We want to reach out. We want to be part of this whole broader student union government. And then they saw the viability of what I was saying, and they keyed in. So we will not say we use them, because they benefited also when we eventually won. They saw a candidate that was ready to work with them, and they gave me their support. So yes, to an extent, they voted for me massively. Wow. Yes, I won't deny that.
So at that time you were contesting and you were visiting different fellowships and different establishments inside the school.
I was not sharing money.
You were not sharing money?
I was not sharing money.
But there were allegations, or there were probably scenes or scenarios that people will be like, maybe I came to our school today, our fellowship today, give us 50,000 there. He gave us 100,000. And sometimes they even say, I even came after the 1 year election, he even came for Thanksgiving, and he donated so amount.
We have been donating. We have been giving, even not only in churches.
Wow.
We have continued to better human lives. This little we have, you understand. Even in Holy Family, not as a church.
Wow.
In P&P, even before we came out for the second time, I've donated sporting facilities, jerseys, football, vests to P&P.
Wow.
Prince and Princess Sister, yes. But some of them can sometimes creating awareness that you are there. Yeah. So, it's not a kind of using them, because those things are just very little, and you cannot use it to buy people over. But just to show your presence and to show that you care. Yeah.
So at that time you were contesting, who exactly from your opponent did you consider a very, very strong opponent? And how were you able to maneuver him?
See, the first or the second time?
The second time came out.
The second time, yeah, there are many strong forces, I remember Ezekesili. I'm not saying he's the toughest, but he said he's from Awka, and his father is a king, Gabi is a prince, and all of that. We had Immortal, who was a very big name, that he was an appointee in the 30th house, we have a Sinawata who was seriously backed by Ebube Aluta. And who else? We had who else did we have? We had Adimora. Yes, who is Chukwu Francis, that SUG president was bringing out. So, and then you had Samuel Eze, who had contested before, who's coming with a lot of, yes, a former loser. So yeah, it was a very keen race. We won't say anybody was really the toughest, but you know, many of them were already gaining ground. But Sinawata was really gaining ground. I'll give it to him. You know, there's a way this natural science is always do their thing. He was really out there. And then as a question to management sciences, you know, management sciences will always collaborate with art and law to do their stuff. So, but we are not really afraid. We are determined. We had our strategy, and I can say it till tomorrow. No matter the noise, I was focused on winning the election. I believed in campaigning to students and not just making the noise. So
did you feel like did you slide certain persons during, because I feel like during the election they used to have this alignment, whatever. So do you feel like alignment was part of the thing that delivered you during the election, or did you slide certain person, promises you made, did you keep to it, something like that?
100%. It was alignment. 100%. I think my candidacy was a divine arrangement, and I must thank the following people. Thank God for this opportunity once again. I must thank people like Comrade Onwe, Chidebere, Limich.
Okay.
Yes. I met some of them very earlier, and I was not moving for any alignment. I was believed more on talking to students, but Comrade Owe Emmanuel Chidibere brought people like the Bielsa president, like I said, Oba, education president, and then they formed an alignment of sciences.
Okay.
An alignment of science, a very strong alignment of sciences with pharmaceutical sciences then, that, you know, all of them put hands together to deliver me. And if you check those 5 faculties, okay, I did something for all of them. So especially for pharmaceutical sciences.
Just to fulfill your promises.
Yes, yes. We did not make any promise during alignment, and we did not slide anybody. All the alignment we agreed on, we did it. We did not slide anybody. And some people believe that they were disappointed. You know, when you make unrealistic demands,
okay,
sometimes when you are forcing somebody to make those agreements with you, you should also know that some of those agreements are almost
unrealistic.
Yes, unrealistic, and that is what happened. It was not my personal decision. It became totally unrealistic, and that's what happened.
Okay, I think I remember something during your inauguration. Now there was, I feel like the 30th president was probably he was suspended during office at that time, and then the VP was then the acting president, according to the other actors. And then during the inauguration, she said something like, "This is the first time we're having young small boys as SUG president."
Yes.
So do you feel like that something was supposed to be true, or was that what actually brought about, or what exactly transpired that made it feel like you people doing the first house, both the legislation, the judiciary, and the executive house, were baby, or was that what brought about the baby commission?
No, it was not what brought about the baby commission. The acting president then, who was acting for the suspended president,
Okay,
is actually younger.
Okay.
Yes, by age I'm her senior. Okay. So she cannot say that it is the first time that we have it. Izuchukwu Francis Ejikeme, despite having a very big body, is quite young, younger than you may think. He's not so old. Only people we know that is old is maybe Ijoma. And Ijoma is not also very old.
Okay.
He's also a young man, maybe in his late 30s or early 40s,
okay,
as the case may be. Yes. So, but that is not what brought about baby comrade. Baby comrade, is it the baby comrade?
So what transpired between she referring to you as small boys during the inauguration?
Okay, you know, the order, it was almost becoming an order, you know, like I said, Izu, Ife, and the Aluta, that's the Joma.
Okay.
They are looking visibly older than the average students on campus. Yeah, so, but we did not mind, like I said, I like challenge. I contested with Izu. Okay. If I was qualified to contest with Ebube, I would have still contested earlier, but just that, you know, you have to get yourself set. So, but we wanted to give young people hope, that of course young people can contest, and my emergence inspired a lot of young people. That's why you see that today, after me, the next set of people that contested were also young people, even now, except that for instance, maybe because they did not work really hard, that this very recent election produced another person that looks that is looking older. But you know, the fact that younger people can come out and contest. The first time I contested, I was the youngest there. I was looking small. Some people were wondering, what is this small boy? looking for here. But when I stood up to speak, to do my manifesto, I was the only one that was able to, because I did not have supporters. I did not know what was. I think if you come out and say the best thing, people will follow you and start saying we are going to vote for you. I did not know that people are blinded by loyalty to individuals and faculty. So, but when I came, I didn't have supporters. I didn't have people cheering me. But there was something I was able to do. I was able to, hold my audience and they paid attention. Now, when I finished talking, I had a standing ovation. People that clapped. So, but that is not what guarantees victory, because even though they did not take me to victory, so it showed that even as a young person, that this person knows what he wants to do and he has something to offer.
So what exactly brought about the Baby Comr saga?
Okay, the Baby Comr saga is a word coined by Charles Ijoma, that's Ebube Aluta, when I failed to install a successor. Yes, I somehow, honestly, because you are doing basically speaking, me, I'm doing honestly speaking, inside the basically speaking, yes. So, honestly, I had somebody I wanted to succeed me, Fabulous, who was my PRO, and I was feeling that, okay, but along the line, Fabulous said he was no longer interested, and the moment he said he was no longer interested, I lost complete interest. It was really a short time, and I did not have enough time to groom another person. Yes, and then the people that I had that were in our government, Governor of Engineering and the Will of Massa, I personally asked him, I said, are you interested in SUG President? He told me that he was not interested.
Wow.
And then Governor never for one day
acknowledged you to tell you that
never for one day came to tell me, my president, see, I want to succeed you. All of a sudden, he was believing that since I have been seeing his movement, that I should guess that he's running for president. And no matter how much you want to look at it, this is politics. You cannot take away formalities from politics. And so I could not support them. But at that minute, my friend, Izuchukwu Francis Ezekembe, was pleading with me to at least see what we can do to help governor. That was how that minute, about less than 24 hours to election, that we had to come and say, okay, instead of us staying idle, let us see if we can support governor. That was not really a way to support, because my structures were down. We go and make your inquiries. People from Holy Family, PMP, ACCF was asking me, many of those structures that we have already put in place, Mr. President, who are we going to support? Even my appointees. Wow. I had people like Onwa that had media, Nazi, all of them that had very crazy media, that if we really wanted to put somebody, even Fabulous, it would have been very easy. But then we were not really much interested. And because of that, and the controversy that happened towards the ending of our tenure, we are more focused on damage control. And so we spent more time trying to package the administration so that we just hand over and go. And then these people capitalized on it and produced somebody. So they now believe that because we are not able, that 9-minute effort, despite being one day, we give them a run for their money. And because we are not able to, because of our poor preparations, they now believe that we are Baby Comrades. We don't have what it takes to win elections. But so that's where the word Baby Comrades started from. Yeah.
So during your campaign, there were certain allegations, and maybe just leave for my note because I was trying to just like write it down so that I will not mix my words with So there were certain allegations that when you were coming out for president, that your campaign was sponsored by a former SUG president, which was 1.6 million.
Yes.
And that after assuming office, you refused to pay the money. So how true is that story, and what's really happened?
Okay. Yes. I've never had time to address this thing. Charles Ijoma Aluta is a serial blackmailer.
Wow.
A serial blackmailer. He never supported me until when it was not clear that someone was going to win. And for me, what I believe is support is that if you are supporting somebody, because the times I've supported people for campaign, I have put in my own money. And when I talk about money, at least, even if not in millions yet, although I've sponsored to the tune of millions, but even if not in millions, I have sponsored people with hundreds of thousands. Now, what happened? Charles Ijoma, I was begging him to support me. I believe that if he had supported me, that I would have an edge. I met him several times, including in Joe Good Hotel, and I asked him, Mr. President, please support me, I will not disappoint you. He told me so many stories, and then when I left, the last meeting we had was at Joe Good Hotel. When I left, he told me to go and raise money. During his convocation, I came there, I served food, I served water, I served drink. I was basically just to show loyalty and
suffer.
And yes, to show that I can do this, I was really hoping that he will help me. So the day I met him at Jogood, this is on camera, and I will say, the day I met him in Jogood, I met him with some people that he said that announced people that are going to be instrumental. That day, the drinks that he did, because I don't take the drink now. The drinks there I paid. They also told me to pay for some announced people logistics that they are going to help me in the election. I should pay for their rooms, because he was trying to make it look like, oh, for me to support you, you need to at least have some level of financial capability. So me, I was not trying to flop. So I tried to also take care of those things. Since that day, I did not come with a wine, because I was somewhere when he called me to come. So I came that day and I told Mr. President, I said, I'm sorry, I could not buy any drink. I have cartons of drink at home, but because you are important to me and you called me, I left off everything I was doing to come here. But the next time I will see you, I will come with my drink. He started explaining to me how Ozi Chuku, his brother from Awka, had already consulted me with the wine of 50,000.
Wow.
And then, but notwithstanding that, I should pay for what is on the table, and I should pay for room for some nice people that are going to be helpful. And I tested those things, and I left that night happily. I left that night happily because I felt that I have done what I was supposed to do to get his support. Only for me to meet one of those nice people one day inside school, and I hosted them at car wash. And the guy told me the truth. He said, this young man is not supporting you. He has already paid the guy from Enugu State. Then I did not know that Tosinawata was from Enugu State.
Okay.
So we kept on pushing. I know that one has already gone. We kept on pushing, and I was trying to get his support together with Ife. But you know, they are not in the same camp. Anything about that, you will not get Ife. I'm sorry that this story is taking long, but I have to tell it.
Okay.
So Ife.
Okay, let's try to just like...
Okay. So what later happened? Long story cut short. At the end, I was able to get Ife's support, and Ife gave me some money, just a little.
So
No, just I don't want to say, but it's not. It's just a very maybe. It's not so much.
Okay.
Just a start with this, and then but then Ebube, I did not hear anything from Ebube again till 2 days to election, when it was now clear that Tosinawata was not coming back. He now called me and said, look, we are going to support you, but look at the terms and conditions and this and that that is going to fund. A day before the election, sir, bring the funds. Baba was not picking anybody's call again. A night to election, Baba, bring the election day. We are calling him, I'm calling him on phone. I say, sir, even if it is 200,000, give us, our money has finished. And he was not responding. He now left that place. We went to one of our cheapest, our faculty president then. We now, with Anto, we went to somewhere.
Did you say Anto or Anto?
Anto.
Okay.
We went to somewhere where we had been building AGM, and we met a very good man, the CEO of Jorep, and we said, sir, our money has finished too. The man has never met me, and then he transferred some money to me. And that money was what carried us throughout the night.
Wow. On
the day of election, you are still calling Ebube, sir, please send their money. And then when the election started, we were hoping that, because when the election started, I was already losing by 300 votes, and he had already lost confidence in me. But a few minutes to end of election, and it was not clear that my votes, you know, the science is management, MP, physical science, and all of them, the votes now started coming in. And yes, our alignment now started reflecting, because you had art, agric that voted earlier for my opponent. So when the vote now started trickling in, and it was not clear that I was now moving, and towards the end of the election I was going to win, that was when Ebube picked his phone and called me and said, Mr. President, you need to reach out to this person. I've sent this person 5,000, I've sent this person. How much did Ebube send for me as a person? The only money from Chasi Joma that entered my account was 30,000 naira. And I can prove it in my statement of account. If you ask me to bring it today, I will bring it. Only 30,000 naira that is sent through a proxy from a first bank account.
Wow.
Only 30,000. The money I spent to host those last people that day and pay for those things was more than 30,000. So if you change, I was even the one that spent more. Yes. So let him come out and bring out the receipt of even 100,000 that he credited to me directly, or even 50 before he claims 1.6 million naira. He has been going around talking about a lot of things, like he's sponsored you. If you spend money on this now, what is it me that you spent money on and you refuse to support me? So what kind of so we did not. You only gave me 30,000 naira. Only 30,000.
Wow. So with this scenario now, because I feel like during your campaign you spent a lot of money.
Yes.
What is the hope of becoming students that don't have money, because in the school environment now, it's looking like if you don't have money, you can't come up with any political system. So what is the hope of a normal student that is trying to lead, that have the capability to lead, but do not have money to push any of this campaign down from the departmental level to the SUG level?
Okay, yes, I am going to be their hope. I will not say I was a poor student. At least I contested twice. It's not easy, and I contested with most of my funds and goodwill of students and friends. I did not have so much, but I was not hungry. And my roommates and friends made very big sacrifices for me. We wanted to enter into a flat, and then we sacrificed that flat money to put it into the campaign. And I had some money then, but I funded most of my campaign with my friends, about 80%. So students can start with what they have and reach out to other students to contribute, as much as they can. The most important thing is not always about all the money. Ebube Aluta bastardized our union with money. He spoiled it and made it hard for people, but people can look up to some of us that did not spend so much and have hope. Reach out, work hard. Two things in election. I used to tell people, if you don't have so much money, you work hard. So you work hard and do the campaign, and then use little money to do the rest.
Okay. So now, there is this saying that it is not always the most hardworking that wins the election. Now, during your time, would you say you were the most hardworking? And then after your time, during the second SUG election, now, the current, the outgoing second president, was he the most hardworking?
I can only say for myself, I was not part of his campaign, but I will say for myself, I worked harder than every other person. I worked harder. My work rate was top notch. I was everywhere. Attended all the meetings, all the events. So in the hard work, the rate was a lot. I really worked hard. I didn't have so much money, so I worked hard.
Wow. So looking at the fact that during your emergence as the State House president, there was always serial events. During your inauguration, we saw the 30th president present in your inauguration event. In most of the events too, we can see alliances with the 30th SUG president. So what would you consider that relationship that you have, 30th president and his support?
Izu has become a friend. I started gaining more respect for him after I contested with him and lost. I've learned a lot from him. Some people may call him, he's not the best person, but there are some qualities he has. When Izu won, he won all of us. Anywhere he sees me, he will always stop to come down and greet me as though I won the election. Even those days that we are trying programs, trying to relate with executives, his fellow executives. Anywhere he sees me, he must stand up and take a bow and greet me. So that earned respect for me. And what exists between us now is friendship. It's friendship. So that's the relationship.
He was a godfather?
No.
So what exactly was he?
He was a friend. He by age he's my senior, and by political adventure he has gone ahead of me. So, but he's a friend and a colleague. Yes, he's a friend and a colleague, not a godfather. We don't believe in godfather for now.
So say that you said you don't believe in godfather.
Yes.
So what is the hope of those other students that believe that it is only a godfather that can deliver them to win an election?
Exactly. That is what we are against. We are against, personally. Some people I don't even know if Izuchukwu believes in godfatherism. Me, I'm not claiming anybody's godfather. I mean, I've helped so many people as well to ascend to power in one way or the other, but I've never come out to claim father or try to control them. Godfatherism can be good in a way, especially when it is not toxic. For example, if you look at the relationship between the current governor of Delta State and the former governor, Okowa, it is healthy. But the one between Wike and Fubara is toxic. So I don't know, but generally, the concept of godfatherism, toxic godfatherism per se, is not what I like. So students can stand independently on their own. What is executive president if you are not, executive? If you are taking orders from somewhere else. So it's never been something I buy into. So I encourage students to go out and work hard. Believe in yourself. You do 80 or 90% of the work. When you do 80% to 90% of the work,
Getting the rest will not be hard.
nobody will be entitled. You understand? When you do 80 to 90% of the work, nobody will be entitled to, say we put you there.
No.
Because if they look around, they say it's a small effort we put for this guy. This guy has worked really hard for himself. That if with or without us,
He will still
win the election. Yes.
So, what would you consider to be as the should I say achievements or things that your administration can point out to and say, okay, fine, it was during the 31st House administration led by you that social and social establishment were being done. What were the achievements?
A classic, if we
don't know the major ones.
the best part of our administration, first part of our government is administration. We are very, very administrative.
Okay.
And there are things that people don't understand about government. I'm an administrator, and I think I inherited that skill from my father. My father is a seasoned administrator.
Okay.
So administration, we came with a plan. You see, when I was contesting, I came with this plan. This is a plan, the Messiah's mandate,
Okay.
consolidation, bridging the gap and delivering good governance. My part is secret.
Can I have a look at it?
You can have a look at it. So this was our plan. You see, it has 10 chapters that talked about different aspects. So I had a plan of what I wanted to do. And then by the time I was leaving, I also compiled another document to show that some of the things there have been achieved. And you see that this one now is in summary, and it's plenty too.
Okay.
For the things we've done. But let me just take you.
Just take us through a brief walk.
Okay. I think I should also look at my plan because. So one of the most important things was that there was great synergy between the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. And I must give a very big shout out to all my executives first. Then the Senate, under the distinguished Senator, most distinguished Senator Paul,
Okay.
and Justice Victor Amete. Very wonderful people. I've never seen that kind of quality in leadership in our student union. Everybody knew exactly what to do and what we are doing. So we had about 6 to 7 landmark bills. We are working in synergy. We had executive bills, the one that I wanted to achieve that I will send to the Senate, and the ones that the Senate did by themselves. The judiciary bill, the High Court bill, was also sponsored by the judiciary. And we came up with the most transparent directorate process.
Okay.
When we appointed directors without knowing them. And it should be a model for Nigeria when you appoint competent people. I have never seen where directors were more active than in my government.
Okay.
Because of that process. I did not need to know you. As long as you can do the job, come and tell us.
There were no space for familiarity.
Exactly. It was not the government of settlement. It was the government of competence.
Okay.
So, and then look at our infrastructural contributions in all the faculties.
Okay.
In all the faculties, we make sure we do something. The only place where I knew that I did not do anything or do much from my own executive office was in education.
Okay.
What happened? I went to education for a custody visit and they misbehaved. I don't know whether they were under the influence of something, but they did not really
respond.
They did not really treat us with honor as much as they did. The president then said to my face that he was not going to accept our liaison officer. I said, if you are not going to accept the liaison officer, there is no way I am going to do anything for this faculty, because if I'm going to do anything for this faculty, you must also accept somebody that
is working
with me. Yes. And the liaison officers did not displace the role of faculty president, because faculty presidents also had direct access with me. Some of them would meet me on the road without unofficial
notice.
Yes, without official invitation. I say, I'm doing induction, please can you come? I say, no problem. The next day I'll come with all my executives and I'll be there. So that was the only place. But you see, in law we did something. Even for the churches, we shared palliative. We are running free transport throughout second semester every Tuesday. We started every Tuesday and then we extended it to Tuesdays and Thursdays. In the morning you had those long buses go 3 trips, and then in the evening sometimes we go round trips from Science Village to Art to Bakassi, picking students and bringing them for free. At least sometimes 3 to 4 tons depending on how many, and we were paying. We did scholarship initiatives, at least nothing short of at least 20 to 30, or let me say, okay, the one I'm very sure of, 20 to 30 students official ones. There are some we did in admin blog that we did not publicize.
Okay.
So if you check the number of people that got scholarship in our tenure, they were up to 50 or more. Then we look at that for capital. We look at people that we give grants for business. Of course, we give grants in human capital development, and we look at the infrastructure. This issue of light we are facing now, when we saw that it is beyond our control and we could not do anything, we thought about what to do. If you go to Garuba Square now, you will see bulbs in Garuba Square and sockets. There was a time we saw that exam is coming and NEPA is not helping the issue. So we had to do that initiative. We had to do those extensions, those like so that students that come for night classes will read. You go to law, you go to social science, you go to environmental sciences, you go to Biosa, where we gave toilets and whatever thing. So the things we did are all over. You go to churches, you see the ones we did to churches. You go to the hostels, all the hostels, for example, especially the ones outside. You go to Holy Family, you will see where we donated the table tennis board and football. And then you go to P&P, the same thing. ASU Drive, even as ASU Drive is, we did not forget them. The 2 times they played their league, we sponsored with cash. Even Holy Family, when they did their cultural week, we sponsored. So yes, so it's numerous what to say. We did the first ever student leadership training for leaders. Yes, but even the current president attended. So I mean, there are a lot of things we can see. Even in Agolo, what about Agolo? We did a volleyball court in Agolo. We also did a complete renovation of office in Agolo.
Okay, there was actually a saga, a particular saga where one of your appointees came openly online to say that you stole whatever he did, I think a basketball court or something, that you stole the project from him and it was his project, that he single-handedly sponsored the project and it wasn't you, and then you stole it from him, blackmailed him, and then named the project after your mandate. Okay. What do you consider to say, or what do you have to say about that allegation?
In what capacity was he delivering a project? In what capacity? The capacity of director of works. The directorate, every directorate is under the presidency. Okay. Okay, I said that we give you opportunity to, to work. It does not mean you don't grow above the master. Okay. You understand? So in student union government, we have a law that says that if a sponsor gives you, even if it is 10,000, that it must be declared the next day. Okay. But the young man, that was the project I first started to do. We set out, we even drew plan for it. The plans are there. If you want, I can bring it and show you here. We drew plans. So when somebody said he started a project, I drew the plan of the project. We cleared the place. We even called quantity surveyors. And we paid. We paid architecture that to Tuma 70,000 naira for that plan and 30,000 naira to the quantity surveyor to do for us bill of quantities. And we were about to start before the young man came on board and said, please sir, I have somebody that can help us to do this thing. And he thought about his face. He said he does not want, if the person is bringing money, many people will be saying, give me my court. I said, come, let me take you to student affairs. Let us get the approval so that you start doing this thing today. And I, is a Samuel, never for one day asked him to give me 5 naira from the money. The young man did not declare his sponsor who is doing the project for us and never disclosed the amount the man was bringing. And do you know why we stopped him from continuing the project? He wanted to contest presidency this year. Okay. And you see he just contested. He wanted to drag the project so that
it will extend to
when he will now use it and contest. As political campaign, I said, young man, it's not done that way. It's either you declare your sponsor now, let us know your sponsor and how much he has brought before this project will continue, or you hands off this project, that this project belongs to student union government. Okay. He did not understand it. He was acting in ignorance and he was walking up and down. And before he could finish the whole thing, it was already late because that thing was no longer captured in our budget again. So we had to squeeze our budget to bring out money. That is why the project is looking a little bit substandard because we did not.
It wasn't part of the main
budget. If we had continued it the way we thought, we would have finished. How many months does it take to do a basketball court? That this young man is taking up to 8 months to do. 2 months you are done with that thing and you move your hand. And you know how fast I do my projects. So that is what happened. You did not understand the process that you cannot build anything inside school without first declaring the sponsor.
So do you feel like his action was probably related to the Aluta movement based on the fact that they feel like if they are able to do certain propaganda as regards the outgoing house, then they can actually find favor to the external godfathers that that is like influence to them.
Exactly. He wanted to contest for president and he ran to the wrong people. Okay. And where are those people? Did they support him today? They did not support him. They only deceived him. and they used him. They made a caricature of the young man everywhere. Look at the meme engineering released. Some things, but we are forgiving him.
Okay.
But like I said, it is foolishness on his own side. He did not understand the system. Because the system is clear. You cannot build anything inside school without approval. And I'm the one that is giving you the approval under the canopy of student union. And on that, since you are doing it in a student affairs environment, there is no way you can say. There was a time he said I should leave his site.
Wow.
I said, is it your father's land? He told me that I should leave his site. Who gave you site? Did you buy any land inside the number?
Tell me to stop tampering with my project.
Saying about. We never till today. I don't know how much the man gave him. Who knows whether the money for the. I did not ask him. I just said deliver this thing in record time. He was saying, "Oh, hold on. When your successor comes, we will finish the project, and now we will now call you." And then you now. It did not make sense. It did not make sense to me. I told him if you're not going to finish this project, he has done dunk according to him, and he seized all of them. He's not going to put it. He has to wait till whatever thing happens. So he was turning the project for reasons best known to him. He openly confided in somebody that he wants to use it and campaign. And you can see what he's doing, that he's campaigning, that he attracted sponsors that we did not know till today. It's shady.
So from that, because I feel like this matter is going to be extending. So let me just ask, from your administration, what exactly do you feel were the mistake? Because certain persons said most of the mistakes, like some of your supporters says, most of the mistakes you made were not administrative mistakes but political mistakes.
Yes.
And then when I was speaking with Senator Paul, he was saying something like that too, that most of the mistakes you made were because you were not politically inclined, and those things were political mistakes. So what exactly will you consider your mistakes from your administration to be? And if you were to run again for president, because if you come back on do 100 level again, it doesn't work well for us, what will you do differently?
Okay, well, everybody, I have a different idea about politics. Everything is not politics, but I remember that one day, Anto of Education called me on phone and said, Samuel, you have to be political. At least you're having issues with faculty presidents. Divide them. Let some people be for you and let some be against you. All of them cannot be against you. So I think I would have taken that advice of the divide and rule strategy. But that is just the problem I had, and I regret not giving them more listening ear. And personally, I know myself. I know that I would have, if I wanted to, I would have also soft pedaled them in a way. I would have pampered them more. And but that battle line that was drawn between us and them and the faculty president is something that maybe if I had another opportunity, I would prefer to collaborate more with them while still achieving what I want to achieve. I wouldn't want them to collect, because the problem is that they should not collect ID card money from students. The idea is to reduce the burden on year one students, because year one students come inside school, they pay hostel fees, they pay this, they pay that, and then you start charging them again another 16,000, 14,000 for induction and the rest. I saw it as an extra burden. But do you know the problem I had? I did it as retaliation for the mischief, because we just inaugurated council, and then the first thing I'm saying is that council is serving me a public memo that why did I sell form for directorates and I should remove the acting officers. And that mischief was caused by Matthias Ezako, Matthias Efezwe, a little philosopher. He has always been a mischievous person, behaving like it.
So basically, what do you have to say about the 60 million? Since April, you said at the time you were opportunity to have about something million from the generation of students union youth. So how were they able to come about the evidences and the allegation of you embezzling over 60 million naira from the student union pool?
There is something that somebody said, and said there is a Olodo uprising. And that Olodo uprising is also happening in the student environment. Students don't want to do fact checking. They just swallow whatever they don't verify information. You understand? They're emotional about it. They don't sit down to reason things. There is no reasoning. Because there is no anybody that is reasonable. We believe that nonsense story. Now look at our student union government. For instance, alone, the programs, we run with the budget. I said I know this administration very well. I was operating with the budget. And then only our student week, the official appropriation was 6 million naira, but we had supplementary appropriation for it. another 1.5. That's 7.5, right? Then you had all the executive do programs, judiciary, senate. So the total number, including for student week, the total amount we are spending on programs alone was around 20 something million. And then salaries, because when we came, we discovered that they don't pay salaries. So after government, people will now package and say pay us. And many people have not been able to be paid. We had a case where Ebube Aluta did not pay his senators. He did not pay his appointees. Even his AG confided in me that the young man never gave him 1 naira. So we did not want people to labor in vain. After laboring, they will now start running around looking for money. So I said, look, you have to structure this payment. And the way to structure payment is to do it legislatively. So we did the financial act that stated how much each person is supposed to collect. So, but before, what we met on ground was that president is supposed to collect 80,000, VP 60,000. Other heads of arm. I said, look, this thing is not realistic. We have to cut down. Some of my executives were not happy with it, but I started by myself. I cut down 30,000 from my money, so I was not earning 50 every month. And then executives will earn some, VP will earn 40. Other heads of arms will earn 40,000, while other executive members will not earn 30. And then we now went to the senators. We said we'll give senators 10,000 naira per month, and then 5,000 as sitting allowance, making it 15,000 every month. Now we had 48 senators. We had some judiciary. There is no month we did not pay at least 4 million. Every 3 months, every quarter we did not pay at least 4 to 5 million naira.
So you pay every quarter. So it means like
every 3 months we pay salary. So and each time we are paying salary is around 4 million naira. So you check 4 times 4. That's another 16 million naira. So minus, I've not started talking about appointees because we paid appointees too. We paid directors. We are paying directors. Is it 10,000 every month, and deputy directors 5,000? I think if I'm correct. Now you check the monetary bill alone for allowances and salaries, you see that it's close to another 25. Let me say, okay, let's say because 16, let's not say 25, maybe 18 million. Now you add it to the 20 something million already. You see that's almost 40 million. Now you look at constituency projects, about 3 million naira. Look at other things that we have done, and then your other things that are palliative. All those infrastructure, all those from federal union money. We paid almost 4 million naira to the past house. That's 30th house as 25% of their salary. Almost 5. Now you add that 5 to that 40, that's 45. Then you look at other things that we did. Judiciary, we did gowns for judiciary, and those gowns are not funny, they are expensive wigs. You understand? The judiciary had their own budget. The Senate have their own budget, apart from salary, from these same funds.
So you are trying to tell us that even with the 70-something million naira that you had liable to your office, it was unrealistic to have stolen over 60 million.
So it is still 10. It's unrealistic.
So when it comes to this whole money of the thing, we heard that there was a scenario whereby is it the financial secretary, this Mandela saga, that he was sidelined from your administration because of the so that the successful spending of that 50 million is going to be successful. So what do you have to say about that?
Well, nobody was sidelined in the government. I carried my executives along. Well, but people will not like my own style of leadership because even people said, oh, that Queen, I was using Queen as VP and I was using Queen as secretary. So, but when you say these things, I call you and I ask you to tell me exactly where I am doing what I'm not supposed to do, or where I'm using your duty or giving your duty to another person, and they were never able to point it out. For example, Choma said, have I ever asked Queen to organize meeting or write minutes of meeting? I've never included on duty. So when Mandela said he was sidelined, something happened. He was not sidelined. This is money matter, and financial matters of the union, sometimes you're supposed to remain within the union. You understand? If there is any complaint, it should be channeled to the appropriate quarters, to the Senate. But what happened? From the first day, Mandela never wanted me to be president. They had plans already of how they wanted to Sinawata and how they will share the whole money. Understand? The plan was on ground, but it did not scale through. So from the first day, they were trying to understand my body language as concerns money. You understand? So I was really, really prudent. I will not say I was a saint or somebody that did not want some for us to have change. But I believe in something. I believe in work and chop. I believe in 80-20. That at least you should work 80%. And then if there is change of 20%, you can now see what you can do with it. That is what I really did. But some people did not believe in the same thing with me. Okay, so I think that's the case of Mandela. What happened with Mandela is that Mandela was talking too much and he had people outside he was reporting to. So the moment I saw that he was always going outside to tell people, oh look at what's happening in the finances, I felt it was best that some things stay within. Even at that, it is constitutional right to be a member of, to be a signatory and to receive alert. So what he normally does is to keep records. But when I discovered that if I give him paper, that I will hear about it outside, that some people were coming to check those papers from him, I stopped.
Okay.
The ones I gave to him, he never returned them because he's supposed to photocopy and give to him. You understand? I'm supposed to photocopy and give to him, but sometimes when he comes, I don't have photocopy. I just give him. I say photocopy and give back to me. But then he does not return it. But I'm coming. But I think that I had reservation about him because the young man did not keep his mouth shut. He was never satisfied. He was always coming around to say, oh, there is a phone I'm using, there's Samsung I'm using. It was Mandela that lent me money to buy that phone. He lent me 100,000 because I wanted to buy a phone of 80,000 or 90,000. And when I got to the store, I saw a Samsung that I liked and it was about 300,000. But I did not have the money presently. I had to call him. I said, so for me to call Mandela means that I know that Mandela has money and he can give me. You understand? So when corruption, they used to say, when it does not longer favor you, that is when you now say it's corruption. But when they favor you, we're not saying that we are corrupt.
So something that are not bad.
Exactly. But he was gaining something because the way we operated is that sometimes we'll give you a work to do. And when the work finish, I will never ask you to give me change. I will tell you to do that work. Make sure you do it. Like the law classroom, it was Mandela that I gave that work. I never called him to see how much remained. What did you do? What did you do? I expected that if you finish this work, you're supposed to get change. But look at what happened towards the end of the government. There was a brewing conversation in the union when people started talking about life after government. What is life after government? That after we have finished SUG, we are not supposed to be the same. And I thought about it. I said, okay, fine. Look, we are going to look for a way to factor you in. Everything is not about the money we have in the union. Sometimes we can create a means of getting money from outside. But I really had that in mind. So Mandela was following the series of the accounts. At a point when we were 1 month to the end of the government, we had about 18 million naira left. Now that is tell you how we were able to manage our funds. In that 18 million naira, we have not brought up money for student wage, 6.5. Elections, about 3.5. SUG elections, 3.7, sorry. Now you see that if you add 3.5 to 3.7, the money is almost gone. We had about 6 million naira to pay in salaries. So you see that the money was almost done. I called him and I explained these things to him. I said, this money you are seeing here is not to be shared. We have other things that we are yet to do. But notwithstanding, I'm giving you my reassurance. That is why you should go out. You see people writing where you write, you refuse to settle your escrows. That is where that word is coming from. You refuse to settle your escrows. He was not getting that reassurance enough that I will still do something for them. That was why he went out and he collided with people that have been already that week that did not get anything, because some people believe that if you enter that you're going to be bringing out money for them to be sharing. But it did not work that way. I was not bringing out any money for anybody to share. So he went and met those people and they told him what to do. And he went behind our back because of the trust he had built with some members of the bank, and he released our statement of account openly. And if you look at that statement of account, you will not see his name on it. But if I show you the full statement of account, you will see Ajelu Francis Mandela. So he covered the places where his name was and projected the places where our name was. There was a day I traveled. I was not able to be around. There was a place you see when I came to me. It was because I was traveling, and when I was the person, my duty was the person around, I wrote the check in his name, and that money was from Mandela. 1,044,000.
Okay.
It was from Mandela. So, but I told him I will sign this check and give to you to give to most of the money, most of the jobs I've given to Mandela to do. He did not execute them well. He will always want to take the money and then use, for instance, that law classroom. When I came, I saw what was done there. It was a very shabby job. How can you use one bucket of paint to want to paint the whole ceiling? One bucket of, it does not make sense. And you know that, look at the amount of money that was appropriated. Although yes, we had issues of fan. I did not supply the complete fan because I told Kisile to discuss with him so that he will give him a little bit of the job to do so that he will at least get something from it. But I was not happy. So we've even given him some deals like some things that he used to get money that he did not execute very well. So, but that is it. He did not release the full statement. That is why he was releasing it in parts where you have Gifted. Now, when that thing happened, Gifted came to my office crying with all the places her names were mentioned, and she came with it because she has a small book where she keeps records. And then she started asking me, Samuel, can you remember what this money was for? And because I used to keep my own records too, I started bringing them out. And that was how all those places you mentioned Gifted, that girl is very innocent. All those places that they mentioned her name were very legit money. And you know the funny thing, when Senate called me, I appeared unofficially. I appeared with my documents. Remember the next day I called a meeting, and I called a meeting of executive. I said, look at the allegation standing before me. Look at all the documents here. I showed them one after the other. And everybody's mouth was kept shut because they saw that
there was nothing to say about.
Exactly. We did the calculation. I said, if I bring calculate, and they were calculating, and they saw that the money was, the chief judge was sitting by my side because he was even collecting those books and looking at them one after the other. He understands how these things work. He was looking at them, and after everything, you see that same day, everybody, including Mandela, agreed that we should release a communique that all those things were false. The only thing I agreed in that meeting was that Pato should be reinstated quickly, and there and then we agreed, and that was why the next day Pato was brought back, so that we were trying to achieve some stability. But those allegations were false. But look at that is what happened. Mandela was never satisfied. He was thinking about that we should give him at least 2 million naira. From where? I am president. There are many ways I can use to get money legitimately. Not, I don't do express withdrawals or staying in young government because I know it can backfire. And no president has faced the kind of scrutiny I faced. I was proved 3 times. 3.
By the legislative or by the general?
By the university, not even students, by the university, 3 times. 3 times. The last one was it was already predetermined. They wanted to make a mess of me. But I know that God helped me. But all the same, this is us today.
Okay.
And that is so 60 million.
Okay.
Even 10 million never disappear from today in your government account.
So it means that even the allegation of you being a stingy person and wanting to use all the money for your own personal gain was probably not visible.
It's not true. I was the most liberal president. There is nobody that has been as liberal as I am. Salaries were paid. Program budgets, some of them were doubled from what was paid to the previous people. And all the travels I made with my executive. I'm the only person that have traveled with all my executives. So I was very liberal. As long as you bring a retail request that involves money, the only thing I can do is to reduce it and then look for a way that, because we have a budget called miscellaneous and contingency. So if what you are bringing, and we have welfare too, if what you are bringing is not in the budget, I will see whether what we have in contingency can cater for it. I was giving. Most of all my executives brought their travel, whatever thing, and I approved it for them. So nobody will say I helped them. We used to go to Abuja, we used to go to Lagos, and when we go to Lagos, I will say everybody, there's a money that school approved for me. This money is not for me alone. Let us shop. I remember the last time I went to Abuja, we were in Jabi Lake Mall, and everybody was shopping. They had their full carts. Even Mandela bought a big gallon of detour. I don't know what is in it. I don't know what is in it. I don't know. You understand? That is to tell you.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So they used to say that one way that a leader can actually prove his successfulness is by producing a successor. So what would you say as regards your inability to produce a successor to the office of president?
Failure does not define a man, you understand? You cannot win all battles of life. So if I did many things right, well, that's a very big one. When you don't produce a success in politics, it's a very big mistake. But I already told you earlier in this podcast what really happened. But we've gone past that. So notwithstanding, we are not looking for anything in the Sudan Union government again. And that's it. So it's not. I don't see myself as a failure. Yeah.
Okay. So how you describe your relationship with the 32nd Senate President and the 32nd President?
Okay.
Because in recent time we used to see you and your predecessor in certain events and that kind of stuff. But in this recent time, me personally, I've not seen you in events being hosted by the 32nd president and having you around. And somehow it feels like there's this kind of hate that comes with the 31st president and the general 32nd House leadership, down from the 32nd president, the second Senate president, and judiciary. So what exactly really transpired that made it look like, because there's supposed to be that continuity of relationship between both administrations. So what actually transpired?
They came from a camp that hated me, that wanted the summer to go down. Even the president openly, admitted to wanting me to be impeached. In many cases, he even made a threat that he would deal with me, and he tried. Also, he tried to bring me down, but who God has brought up, no man can bring down. And we don't go to places we are not invited. As long as you don't invite me and you don't find the word of invitation, I will stay in my house. My house is very comfortable. If you are here, are you not comfortable here? And so I stay in my house, I mind my business and do other things. They let them do their own government. And when they finish, we'll also know about us, our government. So it's not a problem. People like Senator David Odo don't know what will become of them tomorrow. But I wish them the best. And my opinion, the 32nd House is not a match. 31st House, they have messed themselves up.
So no competition.
There is no competition. From what they don't. Let me give you an instance. The 32nd senior president is a law student, and he was in our 31st House where he made a deal. The swap deal was sponsored by Senator David Odo. But in his 32nd House, zero deal. Someone that's a law student that is supposed to know this lecture, not make it. They don't know what they are doing in that house. And from the executive to the judiciary, they are all flops.
Wow. So it appeared that after assuming your office as the first president, your relationship with some of the people that actually supported your emergence actually deteriorated, basically. So what exactly happened between you and specifically Anto of education? Because I feel like in every election that happened in UNIZIK, especially when it comes to state union government, Anto always plays a bigger, a big role in making sure that a particular candidate is delivered. So, and I'm very, very sure Anto played a particular role in your emergence. So, what actually transpired between you and Anto of education that made it feel like after a while in your assumed office, we never saw Anto present?
Yeah, Anto is my birthday mate, and he's a very smart guy. I must give it to him. He's a very smart guy, and I like his smartness. I was talking to my friend. I said Anto is a smart guy. If you want to win elections, you must meet Anto. And all the people that have come to meet me, I used to tell them to go and meet Anto. Anto has something that he can do for you. But I think what made me to follow with Anto was on the morning of election. Many things transpired. Anto collected money for my opponent.
On your behalf?
Not on my behalf, for my opponent. I switched camp. I started working against me from what I heard. And yes, because those 5 faculty presidents that work for me came back to give me the report that Anto collected money that morning and called them for another meeting. So that is the first place that our relationship had a puncture. And then secondly, what really happened was that, when I was paying 30th house their allowances, Izuchukwu Francis Ejikeme submitted a list of another person, with another person's name as chief of staff, and I refused to pay that person. I said, Izu, I don't know this person as chief of staff in your government, and I cannot pay him. He now said he's the one that will tell me who to pay. That is the person that appointed. I said, sorry, I don't know this name. And I said, the person I know is Anto, that I will pay Anto. He said, no, that is the person that appoints. And I said, okay, fine, I'm going to suspend this payment until you resolve with Anto and come. So unfortunately, I did not pay Anto. That one was one of his annoyances. And then the thing that even made him more annoyed and bitter against me was when I did not support his friend. C for JCC. You understand? I supported ICC, who I felt was the better person for that office, and who reached out to me more, who convinced me enough. So that is what made our relationship very sour. And then he now fought so hard to remove me from office. Anto fought so hard. He fought so hard, but to God be the glory. We are smarter and we are more strategic. We are ahead of him, and with the help of God, not by my own power, we're able to maneuver. But you must know the kind of person Anto is. Anto is a betrayer. He's a serial betrayer, and not afraid of him anywhere. He likes to, dominate. But sadly, he discovered that somebody is not somebody you can dominate. And people that are like that, don't like competition. Anto does not like competition anyway, and if he feels that you're a competition, you become an enemy. So he sees me as somebody who is outspoken and cannot be easily controlled. And I'm very happy that I kept him at arm's length during the government. But that aside, he's a smart guy, and I don't have anything to do with him.
So basically, what do you have to say about, because during the second election, there were allegations or rumors, basically, saying that you, alongside some allies, went ahead from hostels to hostel trying to buy votes, whereas some other persons had already offered more money for their votes. So is that allegation actually true? Is that rumors true? And if it were, even though it was not true, why would most rumors about student election be always relatable to money, buying of votes, buying this, convincing this with money? Because you cannot even do an analysis meeting without spending at least 50,000 naira.
He said 50,000. Somebody, when I was contesting, somebody told me he was at 4C Kitchen and that he has already eaten 40,000.
Wow.
Now when I come, I will not pay anything that is remaining on top of the 40,000. I will pay. It's not alignment, just consultation. So, but look at what happened. I said before that it has been spoiled. Everybody has spoiled it. He believes so much in money politics. But we are not buying votes. We did the normal thing that they used to do, because you cannot enter a place without money again. Because even my own time I paid. So I said, we came late. We started very late, and those late preparations, from what I've discovered, will not help us. I think I don't even want to involve myself in any other SUG elections, because I've been unsuccessful, sadly, in two now, because of always coming in late. So that late preparation, we tried to convince people with the little we had, but that's why I said, even in a short time, we gave them a run for their money, because they had to pay more. They were paying and paying and paying. So some places you come, you see that they have given a kind of money that you don't even want to spend for that kind of shabby preparation. So that's it. But we did not buy food for what? How much food do you want to buy?
So what do you have to say about this particular thing that you say after school and that? Why? So are you supposed to be in NANS now, or do you feel NANS is a very, very unstructured set of arrangements? Just keep you busy after school, or is NANS supposed to be for students?
NANS is for students. It's National Association of Nigerian Students. It's for students, and the people have a bad idea of NANS because they don't really understand it. Sadly, because of the people in our UNIZIK that have spoiled it. But NANS, in a broader picture, although it lacks some structure, a very well defined, but NANS has constitution. If you attend their events, you'll see that although the normal Nigerian factor is in play in NANS, but I believe it's an organization that can be better structured, and it's not after school NANS, because some people that are in NANS are actually students. Students participate in NANS, but there's a popular saying that NANS is a stakeholder organization. You have more stakeholders than students that participate in it. So it's your choice whether you want to, they will now call me a stakeholder in NANS, and it's not my choice to decide whether I'll be actively participating in it. We have some of our lecturers who are also NANS stakeholders. So the moment you have finished being a leader or a student and you want to join the stakeholder forum, you join it. So I don't think it's as bad as it has been painted. There are some elements, people like, I don't want to call their name, that have bastardized.
You just call their name, so we're sure what we're saying.
There are people that have bastardized, especially in our number University, that have bastardized the whole this thing. The concept of Ijoma, Charles Ijoma, his concept of NANS is nonsense, because he has misrepresented the opportunity he had to elevate the status of that association that he was given opportunity to coordinate. He failed to make it presentable. Now people are seeing NANS in bad light. He had the opportunity to repair that image, but he further worsened it. But it depends. It all boils down to leadership, and what leadership can do when you have an opportunity to make the system better. And Charles Ijoma failed. He used it to spend most of his time fighting and wanting to control. He told me that when he emerged as coordinator, that I will leave Giant House for himself, he will come and take office for the year. So those he used it for intimidation and all manner of things that deteriorated or spoiled the name of NANS. But generally, I wouldn't say it's completely a bad organization.
Saying before that people have a low attention span, so I'm trying to just make the video a little bit lesser. So let me just ask you this question before I go to the end of this video. So now that we have a 33rd SUG president, how do you describe the election Do you feel it was fair and fair? Do you feel it was rigged formally in the choice of the students? And then how do you feel seeing that I know you probably have a candidate for the election, seeing that your probably candidate didn't actually win the election because Hello Boys and Anto have this close relationship somehow, probably before time and now. And there is no how you will tell me that Anto was not actively involved in Hello Boys
Emergency, yes.
so, how do you feel as regards your candidate not winning the election? Was the election fair and fair? Was it rigged in favor of the students? What exactly do you have to say?
For me, I think this is the best election so far in terms of the technology employed. So I must give it to the Student Affairs Division and our MICTU.
Okay.
A very wonderful app. You know, it now exposes a lot of things. Those faculties that used to say, oh, we have capacity of this. How would they have known that pharmacy could not deliver so much, just a chunk of 5,000, and the environmental did not also vote as much, maybe because they did not have, but we have seen how much people like physical sciences, how much they were really invested, and it's sad to say that education was food. It's been the highest number of votes, getting the highest number of votes, yet coming back with only the director of socials.
Wow.
What a waste of of votes. But I will say that the process was free and fair, and it reflected student choice. Hello Voice worked very hard. It's true that I did not support him from at the tail end, but he worked hard and he deserved that victory. It does not have anything to do with whether Anto was with him or not. Students gave him their mandate, and I think to an extent it was at least free and fair. Yes.
Okay, so with the recent reform that the students' affairs of UNIZIK actually doing in order to make restructure the leadership positions in school, what exactly do you feel, or what exactly do you feel that the position of the student union government is going to be in like maybe 5 years, 10 years time, together with student leadership down from department to